Oh, Cincinnati, magic name, I proudly to the world proclaim. That's how the alma mater starts here at UC. But there's another magic name for Bearcats. Nippert. But it's not just a name. It's a story.
Nippert was a center for the UC football team in the early 20s.
Actually, before Spencer Tuckerman, the director of digital media at UC, tells us the story of Jimmy Nippert, we need to go back even further. Fact of the matter is, the Bearcats have been playing football in this spot for over 120 years. Before that, this area of campus was a little damp.
And this was basically just a swamp. It was just a marsh where the students would use as like their recreation field, basically. And so when it came time to choose a location for the football stadium, they just went with where students were already sort of playing sports.
And so Carson Field was born. Arch Carson is considered the founder of UC football going all the way back to the 1880s. The field itself is in fact still known as Carson Field today. The first permanent structures started going into place around that field in 1915, and then a few years later came the tragic tale of Jimmy Nippert.
In 1923, his senior year, during a game against Miami of Ohio, who's of course one of our big football rivals, the field was muddy. He got hit by a cleat and his leg was cut open, but he finished playing the game, and it wasn't until after the game that he realized sort of the severity of the cut, and he got a blood infection. And then later that year, on Christmas Day 1923, he actually died from the injuries from that blood infection.
But he finished the game. UC Magazine quoted the Cincinnati Enquirer as having reported at the time that Jimmy's last words were of the sport he loved and which cost him his life. 5 more yards to gain and drop, he murmured and died. The loss profoundly affected his grandfather, another James Gamble, as in Proctor and.
In Jimmy's honor, his grandfather donated $250,000, which allowed the university to complete the stadium and put in training facilities and medical facilities so that no student athletes would sort of suffer the same fate that Jimmy Nippert did.
On November 8, 1924, the James Gamble Nippert Memorial Stadium was dedicated. And since then, it has expanded, it has upgraded, it has even welcomed ESPN's College Game Day. But it's not just a place reserved for watching gridiron greats. Nippert is part of UC's soul.
Not all universities can say that their football stadium is in the middle of campus. You walk by it on the way to class, you can sit down here and study, you can sit in here and eat lunch, and the field is open when there's not a football game. So, students will come down there and throw a frisbee or, kick footballs and stuff like that. It's pretty special.
So next time you're down here cheering on the Bearcats, remember, this place used to be a lagoon. Then came the field. Then, because of Jimmy Nippert and James Gamble, you get one of the most legendary stadiums in all of college football.